today I want to do a little bit of a PSA.
It's more of like, don't make the same mistakes we made.
Don't make mistakes we made, but I'm sure there's some of you listening who you can save a whole lot of money with this, what we're going to be talking about today. But long story short, I was paying the bills the other day and I noticed our water bill was almost $300. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right.
Too much.
And I remembered it was a little bit high the previous month, which I want to say was probably like maybe 150 or something, which is high. Like normally we're below 100 for our water bill here. And
it's the winter time. So we started like thinking through things. It's like, okay, we're not watering the plants outside. The kids aren't playing in the hoses in the outside.
Yeah.
What else were we thinking? There were a few different things that we were like, it can't be that, can't be that, can't be that. And we had like a couple living with us for a little while. So we were like, they're not using extra water. Like it should have been higher before.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when there were more people bathing in the house.
Yeah, it should have been at its lowest point, really, the last couple months.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it went up, and it was actually 3 times higher.
Yeah.
3 times higher than what it normally is, and it probably should have been lower. So anyway, all this, like, I'm like, oh man, we must have a leak.
We're getting ready to go out of town, so we're like, we gotta figure this out quick.
We're going out of town in a few days for a while. So, and my first thought was, oh man, and whatever, just last month we had a really cold month. And we had temperatures got colder than they ever get here.
Like 0 degrees.
Nashville. And I'm like, I wonder if, the pipes burst under the house and I don't even know. And I go down there and there's whatever.
So there's no basements here. So it's a crawl space.
Yeah.
So Bob's got to go down with the spiders and...
I don't hang out in the crawl space too often.
Oh my gosh.
Other than to check for leaks. But So anyway, I first went around the house looking at... what was going on. We have 2 outdoor faucets, and both of them weren't leaking any water. It's like, all right, that's good.
Yeah. Like spigots?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Mm-hmm.
So I started doing some Googling and YouTubing and trying to find out about basically the best way to kind of diagnose this. And so I went out to the water meter and turned that off because I could hear it running through the water meter. And I'm like, oh man, what's going on? Just as I was standing there. And then I turned it off, and then it stopped, which was great. I guess that was a good sign. And then I went to the main on-off switch inside of our house and flipped that off, just trying to diagnose, like pinpoint where this water could be coming from, where it could be.
Is it coming from the street to our house? Like,
yeah, and it wasn't that. I had confirmed that it wasn't that, but...
So you confirmed that it was somewhere within our home.
Yeah, yeah, and... Really, from the main water line or the water meter to our main thing ran under our house. And so it was really starting to look like it was a leak inside of our house, which I was not excited about.
I mean, we were like looking at the ceilings, like, where is this coming from? Like,
because it's tons and tons of water, 3 times as much water, as we normally use. And so anyway, so I go under the house and start looking around. I'm like, there's nothing down here. I'm like, all right, well, that's good. And anyway, so the whole thing was just like trying to diagnose this and figure this out. And I couldn't figure it out. And so then I went back outside and, I think it was about this point that I realized our 3-year-old left the water running in the bathroom.
Yeah, we're sitting there in the kitchen trying to figure this out, like quiet, And all of a sudden Bob goes, "Do you hear water running?"
Yeah, which had nothing
to do. Is there water
do.
running? And so we walk into the
bill.
bathroom, and of course, our 3-year-old left the faucet on.
But I'm like,
which he has done multiple times.
I know. So it's like, all right, is that our problem? Is that the thing?
I have gone in that bathroom before when the sink was plugged, and he's got the water on full blast, and it's just going down. Like, thank goodness for that little drain, because it's just pouring down that.
Well,
the little hole at the top of the sink,
I know, and I've caught him trying to plug that hole.
Oh my gosh!
Buddy, do not do
this.
Anyway, so all this to say, yes, we have a lot working against us with the 3-year-old who's trying to use 50,000 gallons of water a month.
Oh my gosh!
But that wasn't ultimately the cause, or at least that wasn't the primary cause. So what I ended up finding out, I learned a lot of stuff in this whole process, but I ended up calling the water company and basically saying, hey, we have a leak somewhere. I don't know what it is. Like, what do you suggest? And they pretty much said, we go to the water meter, but after that, it's like you need to call a plumber and figure it out. But, and I said, okay, well, great. I'm trying to figure out if I fixed it, if it's already fixed, or if it's still an issue, because all I see now is last month's bill. And I don't know if the underlying problem is solved.
Yeah, okay, so wait, back up. You went back out to the water meter after we shut the water off, and it was no longer running.
Yeah, so it stopped after we turned off the water over there.
So that made us kind of like, all right, well, what? Okay, so maybe at this point it was just that, but maybe it's something that we've already fixed, right?
Yeah. So, ultimately, this is a long, winding road to get to what the actual problem was, which...
That's how these things work, right? That's what troubleshooting is.
Yeah. I guess about a month and a half ago, the toilet, our kids' toilet, was like basically running nonstop.
All the time.
And so you'd flush it, and it has that sound where it's just like kind of filling back up. Well, it just never stopped doing that. It just kept doing that. And I suspected that, that meant we were wasting some water. And so I bought a thing on Amazon, a little repair kit to like replace the flapper or whatever. Like $17 or something. And I bought it on there, but I wasn't in a major rush to fix it because, I don't know, I just thought, whatever.
Well, and it had been running for a while, and I kept saying, Bob, that toilet is still running. Do you know what we need to do to fix it?
Yeah.
Like this was a discussion in our house, but...
So here's what's crazy, because, I thought, all right, maybe that's why I had $5 to our water bill. Turns out this was the thing that tripled our water bill.
I mean,
and that is good information to have. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I guess this is part of adulting and like continuing to figure these things out. But I'm not a plumber by trade, and so I just had no idea that it could be that much water.
You're 41 years old, and it's taken you 41 years to realize that could triple your water bill.
There you go.
Like, how would you know otherwise than it happening?
Well, yeah. So the point is that if you have something like that, it might be costing you more than you think. And I don't know if our water, because we had something happen in our previous house where we had a leak, and the water company let us know, and they called us and said, "Hey, you're using a lot more water. Do you have a leak?" This time they didn't, and I don't know if they ever would have. And this is a side note with all this, but a lot of times people will ask me why I don't completely automate all of my bill payments, because we are in an era where it's really easy to do that, and there are multiple reasons why, but this is one of them. Because if we had this set up as an automated thing where our bills automatically got paid and automatic withdrawal, and our water company isn't going to call us if we have a leak, it's like we might have been paying 3 times as much for who knows how many months before I would have realized what was going on. And there's other ways, like you could check your bank account or whatever. Like there's other ways to do that. But I'm just saying, for me, that coupled with the fact that I worked at a bank and I saw way too many people who basically gave their bank account information to their phone company or to their water company and said, here, automatically pull money out. And it's like, I don't like that, because you lose control, because now they have your information, they can pull it out rather than you being in the position of sending it to them.
Right.
And I've just seen too many people taken advantage of with stuff like that.
So if they're charging you, and they shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's a lot harder.
To get your money back?
Yes.
Because now you all of a sudden have to
send when you want.
Right.
So anyway, that's just like I don't know, that's a bonus for you. How about that?
That's
but the PSA, I guess, in all of this is, if you have a small water leak, it might be costing you more than you think.
Right.
How about that?
Were there any other things on there that you learned while you were trying to figure out what could be causing? Like, what else was on there that you were like, really, that?
Yeah, one of the things that was interesting to me, this isn't necessarily what was causing it, but the woman at the water company, she said one way you can kind of test to see how much water you're losing is basically you take off the back lid of your toilet and put some drops of food coloring in it. And then I don't know the exact amount of time, but if they start showing up in your main bowl, then that means that you have a flapper leak or something like that.
Oh.
And then that's pretty good indication that you probably should replace that flapper because you're wasting a lot of water.
So the flapper is the thing in the toilet tank that comes up and then closes back down. Okay.
Yep. And if that is basically not sealing all the way, then you have water that's just constantly draining and it's constantly filling up and draining all at the same time, just nonstop. And that's what was happening with us. So
Wow.
anyway,
Check your flappers, people.
check your flappers. So this was a very random
Very random.
peek into our, I don't know, home
No,
improvement.
but I mean, like, this is a
stuff.
real thing that I think anybody who is a homeowner deals with.
Yeah.
Or, if you are renting, like, there were a couple places we rented where it was like water was included, right? Do we have
Yeah.
to pay for our water? But that it's not that like that everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something to definitely pay attention to. And
Yeah, and and this is just one of many ways, because I'm thinking also about like windows. You're in a house with old windows versus new windows. Like the amount of airflow, well, not even just airflow, but also just temperature, because
Yeah.
like those old single pane glass, they're just terrible insulators, and so yeah, your heating bill is going to be so much more
right.
in an old house like that, or just with
So-
old windows.
What this is just reminding me is of we take the approach of getting big wins and not having it affect your lifestyle as much, right? And so this for us is a big win, where it's like we were getting charged 3 times more for our water bill, and we just cut that by 2/3 down just by a $17 fix and changing this thing.
Yeah.
So this is a huge win that is going to save us what, 100 or more dollars?
Well, every month. Yeah.
Every month.
I mean, $200 every month. Well, and it might have even been more if it would have continued. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and for anybody who's wondering, it is really easy to change that flapper. And all of that, like, internal...
You're going to put a YouTube video in the show notes?
No, I'm not. Well, I guess we could, but I'm not. It's not going to be me doing it. But
Well,
but it is a really simple process changing that, because I hadn't really done anything in the back of the toilet. But like all of that stuff, I've since replaced it. And it's like you can buy the kit came with all the different things. All the different, and they're all plastic.
Well, but even if you're going to save that much money, it's worth it to hire a plumber to do it if
Yeah.
you're not going to do it
Yeah.
yourself.
But
yeah.
I'm just saying the flapper was literally a 30-second fix. Like I disconnected it there and put the new one back on. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was super easy.
That does sound easy. That's
So
surprising to me.
You
I
don't
would've
need to
thought
be
that.
handy, like pull up a YouTube video and just watch how to do it. And it's like, oh, okay, that's easy. It's real simple. So
All right.
anyway, there's your money saving tip, PSA, water saving thing
Learn
for
from
the
our
day.
mistakes.
And yeah, have a good one. See you next time. Thanks for joining us on the SeedTime Money podcast. And remember, money isn't the goal, but it's simply a tool to help you fulfill your purpose and your calling. And we'd love to help you achieve true financial freedom faster with our email newsletter. So if you want exclusive money tips and hope-filled encouragement in your inbox, head over to seedtime.com to get signed up.